Very good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Dr. N. Ramakrishnan, Professor and Head, Department of Educational Technology. I take immense pleasure in seeing you all here for the wonderful session webinar on orientation to MOOC via SWAYAM. Very good afternoon to one and all present here. Once again, I say. And first of all, I should thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Panjanathan sir, our Registrar in Charge, Dr. Balakrishnan sir, our Controller in Charge, Dr. Govindan sir, and I should thank all the professors of all the departments of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, assistant professors of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, all the staff members of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, principals and assistant professors of various colleges affiliated to Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, and other persons, other academicians, other teacher educators. Once again, I welcome you all to this wonderful session on and introduction to orientation to MOOC via SWAYAM. And this has been initiated as a first step in the Center for MOOC SWAYAM of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. This is the first webinar organized by Center for MOOC SWAYAM. And I congratulate and I appreciate my faculty, my department professor, assistant professor, Dr. Senthil Kumaran, for initiating this webinar. I have been asking him to do these kind of webinars from the beginning. Now he has taken the lead and he has organized this webinar. And I congratulate him. I appreciate him for taking so much efforts in bringing a great personality, Dr. Aram Khan. And Dr. Aram Khan is known for her expertise in teacher training and non-formal education. And we had to attend her session in the NEPA. And when we attended a refresher course in NEPA, and we had a chance, a good chance, a providential chance to listen to her lecture. That lecture, we were impressed by her presentation. She made a wonderful presentation in that lecture in Delhi. In that program, I myself and Dr. Senthil Kumaran, we both attended. And that program, we were impressed by your presentation, Madam Dr. Aram Khan, Madam. And on behalf of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and everyone here, I welcome you, Madam, to this wonderful webinar. I hope definitely this webinar will throw more light on making a lot of MOOC related courses to our university. And we would like to be part of SWAYAM, and we would like to contribute more for SWAYAM, because our department is Department of Educational Technology, and our area is this, and we would like to concentrate on this. We would like to produce a number of videos related to teacher education, and all those things should be uploaded in MOOC and through SWAYAM. And in that way, and your lecture will be the eye-opener. And Madam, I congratulate you. You are the first one to initiate this MOOC Center of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. We may have hundreds of programs in future, but who gave the first program? Dr. Aram Khan gave the first program. The credit. Madam, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And please be with us and please be connected with us for all our endeavors. Please guide us and motivate us and lead us to do a lot of videos on modules for MOOC. And we seek your help and guidance. We seek your cooperation also, Madam. In future also, you please continue to support us by giving so many talks and so many lectures and so many skill-based workshops and all. And I hope, and this will be a wonderful session. And I welcome you, Madam, once again on behalf of our Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Registrar in Charge, and Controller in Charge, and all other professors of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University to this webinar. I welcome associate professors and assistant professors of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University welcome all the assistant professors and associate professors of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. I welcome principals of various colleges affiliated to Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. We have 720 colleges, affiliated colleges. It is an omnibus university. We have large number of colleges. Our role is a very greater role. Our role is a big role. We have to make lot of contributions for all these colleges. All these colleges are our children. So we have to cater to all these children. So in that way, our role is highly important. I welcome all the principals of our affiliated colleges of education, and you all please attend Dr. Aram Khan's webinar. And you also can contribute for the MOOC Center of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University by making a lot of presentations. I invite professors, assistant professors, associate professors of affiliated colleges of education also to contribute for MOOC courses on teacher education. And in order to make a lot of models and videos on this MOOC platform, and Madam's lecture will be guiding light for all of us. So in that way, once again, I welcome all the principals and professors of affiliated college of education, professors from various parts of India, and teacher educators from various parts of India, and all other academicians, scholars, students, all on behalf of our TNTU, I welcome you all. I now I hand over the session to Madam Dr. Aram Khan. Madam, now the session is yours, Madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a wonderful speech and welcome address. Now, it's a formal introduction about the resource person, Dr. Aram Khan. She is currently designated as Assistant Professor from the Department of Teacher Training and Non-Formal Education, Institute of Advanced Study in Education, Faculty of Education, Jamia Millia. It's a central university. She holds PhD in Botany in the year 2009 and PhD in Education in the year 2006. She has also qualified NET in 2010 and 2012. She was the Associate Editor of MHRD's journal Voices of Teacher and Teacher Educators and Jamia Journal of Education. Her areas of specialization is education technology, ICT in education, science education, educational guidance and counseling, environmental education. She has published 6 books and 32 research papers in UGC listed journals and some impact factor journals. She has contributed 6 chapters in the edited books. She has also reviewed 6 books and she has translated 2 books in Hindi. She has contributed a video lesson in EduSet Network and she has presented more than 30 papers in international and national level conferences, seminars. She has organized 19 workshops. To her extent, she extended support to provide content support to develop video programs at CIET, Central Institute of Education Technology, NCERT. She has served as resource person and subject expert for more than 65 programs. She has evaluated 65 research tools. In addition to all this credit, she has developed 88 online materials for e-content and MOOC programs. For the time constraint, I have restricted a contribution to the field of education. Thank you, ma'am, to have you in this webinar. Now, I handed over the session to Dr. Aram Khan. Ma'am, please, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. First of all, it's a great pleasure to, and it's an honor for me to be with you all. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ramakrishnan, Dr. Senthil Kumar, and I will also like to thank the Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai, and all the participants who are right now present in this particular program. All of them are actually welcomed, and I wish that I would be up to the mark and I would be in a position to actually solve all those questions which are with them in order to use the SWAYAM platform. Because this particular program, this particular lecture is based on the orientation towards using SWAYAM platform which is launched by Government of India. So the first lecture is actually, as this is the first lecture of this series, so I will be focusing on the use of SWAYAM and what exactly we can do by SWAYAM. And before starting the entire session, there will be a kind of introduction and need assessment which government has done in order to launch such a flagship program, which Swayam is. So there will be certain pointers which I would be mentioning, and then I will be discussing. So I will just go and share my screen so that you can see my presentation as well. So I hope that the presentation is visible to everybody,
Yes, ma'am.
and the voice is also audible. My voice is
Yes,
also
madam. Visible and audible.
okay. Then I will start the point.
Okay.
Thank you so much for introducing me. My introduction towards like why I was selected for this particular lecture, I can owe to that I have contributed some bit to this platform, the platform of Swayam, uh, in the form of developing MOOC courses. So there are approximately 7 to 8 courses on Swayam which are actually running or completed their run, which are placed on Swayam, where I have contributed to certain extent. The experience which I have got, I will be sharing. That experience can be used for exploring Swayam platform as well. If any teacher is willing to create courses for Swayam or any other platform, because there are n number of platforms which are available, but Swayam is the only platform which is developed by Government of India. So it will be better if you develop courses for Swayam or MOOCs. But I will tell you that before starting to develop the course, I will be showing you how to use the Swayam platform. What exactly is present on Swayam platform is of so much use in this particular situation where we are homebound at our places and we don't have access to our universities, the libraries, and we have to cater to our students. The student fraternity, the entire educational fraternity is right now at a kind of hold stage where we feel at times helpless. But if we know, if we have information regarding all those places, sources, resources which are available over the internet, freely available, they are launched under open category, open educational resources, without any spending of money or any spending of time in in the sense going and getting access, like we go to the library and get access. That is not required. Still, sitting at your home, you can, if you have got broadband and you have got internet access, even through the smartphones, you can access to resources. So I will start the things. This is something which I wish to mention. Why? Because whenever certain flagship projects are launched and they are done through the platform of a government institution or government body, there is something, there is a project, there is a thought process which is behind it. So Digital India campaign, which was launched in 2015, was the soul of this particular platform, which is known as Swayam, or Study Webs of Active Young Aspiring Minds. Basically, Swayam is an acronym. So it is the idea was flagged when this Digital India campaign was launched. And Digital India campaign has got basically three main objectives. And among the three main objectives, there was an objective that we have to provide ample number of resources and good quality resources. See, if you go to the internet, you will find a sea of resources. Ample number of resources are available there, but there is no any guarantee that whatever you are accessing is actually of good quality, of correct nature or not. So there is a question whenever a student is actually going and searching the internet, that which part or which content is correct and which the student can access without any kind of difficulty or without any double thought, and the content which is accessed will be accepted by even the evaluators who are sitting at their universities. So this was the basic question which was there whenever we were talking about online education. So this Digital India campaign enabled the the different institutions, the different educators, teacher educators, and those who are at to any extent related to students' education, children's education. In higher education, we have got uh, at certain extent we have got those students who come under the adult category. So we have to see that what exactly will be the best place where we can find the best content. So this Digital India campaign gave us the platform for that particular initiatives. Then came actually this national mission of ICT through technology, this NME ICT. This was actually launched in year 2009 itself, and this is supposed to provide fundings, provide all those uh, all those resources to the higher education institutions for for getting readied for all those ICT initiatives. So NME ICT was far, like way beyond it was launched. It is a centrally sponsored scheme, but the money which NME ICT was launching was used in different places. There is one place which I will like to mention where I was also involved. But whatever we were creating, whatever we were developing for the students were very niche kind of, like it was placed at different places scattered, but it was not centrally available to the institutions or to the students. So this NME ICT scheme was the sponsoring agency, one of the sponsoring agencies for higher education, which is actually created by MHRD. So MHRD is the parent body. So NME ICT is also something which we have to know if you want to get some sort of sponsorship. If you are in a higher education institution, definitely you will get the money from which is actually coming from NME ICT. So the next thing which I would like to just mention is SWAYAM is not the first platform or in the world. It's not the first platform or it is not the only platform. We have got n number of platforms for actually doing courses or creating courses. On my screen, you can see that I have made a kind of graph where you can see all those countries, uh, some of the countries, because there are more countries who have got platforms. But in India, we have got NPTEL, National Project for Technology Enhanced Learning, which is actually created by this consortium of 7 old IITs. And it is something, it is a project which was working from years. When we were not even thinking about online courses, NPTEL was creating online courses and they were actually getting those courses done in the engineering field. So NPTEL was there, and there were Coursera, there was Canvas, there was Udacity, and edX, Open edX. Even Open edX was it is with MIT, with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and IIT Bombay. Uh, this Open edX was run, and when I started the work of creating MOOCs, to start with, I created a small course on Open edX platform, which was at that moment we have to seek permission from IIT Bombay for creating a course. So it was a kind of attempt to learn that how to create a course. So that was always there. Even all these platforms are available. You can go ahead and do any course. And for creating a course, it's my suggestion, it's my empirical observation that once you are willing to create a course, first do lots and lots of courses. And not only the courses from SWAYAM, you can go ahead and do the courses from different international platforms. I have done courses from Stanford University and different universities, where from the Coursera and different platforms. The only thing is that the courses are free, very much free. But whenever you want to get the certification or certificate from these Coursera or edX platforms, not from Open edX. Open edX is completely free. Uh, at the time of getting certification, they will ask you some money. So what I did, it's my experience that I did all the courses, but I was not after the certificates, because they ask the money in dollars. So for it is a great learning experience. If you do any course from all those platforms, you will get to know that what exactly a course is, and what are the different methodologies and pedagogies which they adopt. These educators adapt when they create a course. And you can create, whenever you are creating a course, you will actually in a position to amalgamate all those things into your course in a very effective manner. So these are some of the platforms. And in India, we have got NPTEL, and now NPTEL is also uh, under the cloud of Swayam. It has given all those things to Swayam. So all the courses which were available on NPTEL are now available on Swayam itself. This is something, this particular screen is showing you EPG Pathshala for higher education. This is the point from where I started my journey for Swayam courses. This is a project which was given to us when I was working with NCERT, the Central Institute of Educational Technology of NCERT. I worked there for around 6 years, and then for 1 year I was in a different department of NCERT. So this particular project was given to us, and through this project we created different courses, or at that moment the name of course was not there. We created different modules for education subject for the students of MEd and MA education. So all those modules were so good in their nature, because they all were following the 4-quadrant approach. 4-quadrant means every module was having one video lecture, one text content, then there was a set of questions and a set of all those references, suggested further readings and all. So all the modules were created in so if there are 16 papers of in MEd course, so there were 16 different papers in which we created modules. So all those modules were created and they were placed on the EPG Pathshala website. So if you go to this particular website of EPG Pathshala, you can access to all the modules. And I must tell you that it's a very nice website, and there are all and like in few of the times we our students actually mentioned that there is less number of books or content available, so you can just ask them to go to the EPG Pathshala website and they can access to the material. And even if they don't want to read out the content, they can go ahead and actually see the lectures. And I think there is one hand is raised. I feel that maybe we can take all the questions once the session is over. I will give 15 minutes totally devoted to questions. Otherwise, the presentation will be hampered. Am I right? Is it the right way to go ahead,
Yes,
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Senthil Kumar?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So after EPG Pathshala, you can go ahead and navigate to the content even on EPG Pathshala. So what happened? Everything was there, but there was not a single platform from where everybody can come and get the content. So then Government of India was thinking of that a lot of content is created now, but the management of this content is not possible in this way, because those who are knowing about EPG Pathshala website then can go and access to the website, but it was not giving kind of organized results. So there was a need for a platform, MIS, or like information management system, from where we can go ahead and launch a course in a very proper manner. So if a student does like studies all those material and follows the instructions for assessment, completes all those assessment things, then even the credit can be transferred. Credit transfer means even in the result of this child, of this student, the marks can be allocated. So whenever this child is going to the normal university, if the child has done an online course, that particular credit which he or she has gained through the online course can be added in the results. And in this way, the repetition of pursuing like all those going ahead and giving exams can be actually limited. So EPG Pathshala was the point where Government of India started thinking of a platform where things can be placed in a proper manner. I have placed two more snapshots here on this slide. The EPG Pathshala content or the different content which are available on Swayam can also be accessed through these two. The first one is e-Acharya. If you type e-Acharya, this is also one of the platforms of Government of India where you can go and navigate the content. And this is InflibNet Center. The second snapshot is of InflibNet Center. InflibNet is a consortium of libraries. It's a body of UGC placed in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar basically. So InflibNet Center actually is the central point where the entire content libraries are having a kind of focal point of all those libraries. So even on the website of InflibNet Center, you can access all the content which were developed through these projects. So now I will be focusing on the Swayam platform. So as I mentioned earlier, Swayam is an acronym. It stands for Study Webs of Active Young Aspiring Minds. But I must tell you that not only young generation, even the older lot or the adult generation, we don't consider young physically, but if they are studying, they are learning, then we can consider them young throughout their lives. So the study webs of active young aspiring minds are for those who are interested in learning lifelong. So this provides a platform, an online platform for all those courses which are created by the Indian educational fraternity for all the stakeholders, be it a student, be it a teacher, be it a teacher educator or a parent or somebody who is not in the category of any of these, just a common person, and the person is willing to do a course. Then the person can come to this particular Swayam platform and get the course done. There are two types of courses. If somebody is a practicing teacher or a practicing student, then the course which this person will do will or can provide him or her the certification and the credits. So you have to choose that what type of what is your status. Are you a practicing teacher or a practicing student? Because why practicing teacher? Because even we require certain API scores and all those marks for our promotions. So we also require the certifications done to gain the credits. So in case of the practicing student or practicing teacher, we can gain certificates. But in case we are beyond all those things and we are now only the interested lot where we are willing to know more about some sort of topic, then we can go ahead, search a course, and we can do the courses. We can gain a certificate, but that will not going to give us credit transfer in our results. So it is required. It is actually available in the Swayam platform. You can choose the type of courses. So it's a flagship product of MHRD, the only platform which is created by Government of India for launching online courses. We were having Moodle. Moodle is something which I think all of you would be aware of, but Moodle is not an Indian this thing. Though it's an open platform, we use it a lot. Even I have got courses on Moodle, but Moodle was not totally Indian. And if you want to create or run a course on Moodle, though it's an open platform, but if you want to create a kind of full-fledged course on Moodle, it also asks you, because you are going to use the cloud space, so it will also ask you some sort of money. So Swayam is a totally free platform where a teacher can create a course. But the only thing is that teacher should come through proper channel. The teacher should be from a proper institution, and the institution is also supposed to provide permission to the teacher for creating a course. But for doing a course, I think there is no any permission required. So the Swayam platform is something on which we are going to have this particular discussion, this thorough discussion. This is the page of the new version of Swayam platform. What I was thinking that I can go ahead and navigate to the Swayam platform, live navigation, but I was not, actually I was skeptical about the bandwidth and the like internet speed and all. At times what happens if you are doing some sort of new thing, fiasco can also in the evening, like late evening yesterday, I made a presentation where I took snapshots of the this particular site and marked all those places which I would like to flag. So this is the home page of the Swayam platform. I will show you all those details, what exactly is actually available here. uh, this particular slide is just an information. You can even get the information over the site of Swayam. These are the bodies who are given the responsibility of national coordinators. You can see the name of AICTE, NPTEL, UGC, Consortium of Educational Communication, NCERT, NIUS, IGNOU, IIM Bangalore, and NITTER Chennai. NITTER Chennai is, I have visited Chennai, I must tell you, it's a wonderful place. I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to be selected as a candidate for a full sponsored scholar, like I was a full sponsored scholar for getting a training to become a certified MOOC trainer. And this training was given by IIM Bangalore, NIPA, IIT Mumbai, and NITTER Chennai. So in last year in the month of September, I was in NITTER Chennai and I got this wonderful training at NITTER Chennai. We were having a good kind of gentry of people from throughout the India, and this institution is great. It's actually providing you a kind of hands-on experience in every sort of uh, avenue which you require to uh, actually to become a kind of MOOC developer. So those who are in Chennai, they must visit NITTER and they should see that what exactly they are offering in person, and even on Swayam they have got few courses. So NITTER, I appreciate whatever they are doing. So NITTER is also one of the national coordinators. Then I'll come to one more thing, because all the teachers are here sitting in the workshop. This is again one of the initiative. It is also available on Swayam. It's known as ARPIT, ARPIT, and this is annual refresher program in teaching for faculty working at the level of higher education. So if you want to do a faculty development program or a refresher course, you can even access courses from ARPIT. There are courses which are of 4 credits, so you can gain 4 credits. And these courses, once you give the exam, you will get the certificate, and you can provide those certificate once your promotions are due. Like you can actually present those certificates in terms of your like requirement for your promotions. Even I have got 2 courses which we created for Aligarh Muslim University, AMU. There is one course on ICT in education and one is on environmental education, which we created for ARPIT. But now the courses, both of the courses, they were actually taken, they got a good response. So now they have the Swayam authorities have made all those courses in the general category. So you can, even if you are not a teacher, then also you can access those 2 courses which are launched by from the platform of Aligarh Muslim University on Swayam. So this is one of the like more information related to Swayam. Then this presentation, I'm going to answer few of the questions which I have written here. So the first question which I have mentioned is, who can do a course from Swayam? So if this query is in the minds of any of the participants, I must tell you, anybody can do the courses from Swayam. So who can do a course from Swayam? The answer is anyone. Anyone, any teacher, any student, any teacher educator, any parent, or anybody who is interested in any sort of education can do a course from Swayam. The next question is, why to do a course from Swayam? I was mentioning that there are many platforms, but and you can choose any of those platforms and go ahead and do the course. There is one platform called Canvas. I recently did a course from SNDT University, and they also did a very wonderful job, and they also not asked any money for any money. But I have seen that on Coursera or on edX and all, at some point of time they ask some money. But if you are going and getting a course from Swayam, the first thing is that it's free. It's totally free. At few of the times, if the courses are done for credit transfer in the results, then the external exams, the proctored exams are taken. If you are giving a proctored exam, you would be aware of that there are invigilation duties, there are arrangements which are to be done by the host university. So for that purpose, if you are giving a external exam, then they will ask you some examination fee, which will be very mere. And even there was a discussion which was going on in the MHRD, that even they will not ask at some point of time, they will start not asking any examination fee also. But last year, when the exams, even for my course, when the exams were taken, they asked, the UGC asked some money from the participants, which was just for the arrangements and like things to be done. So why to do a course from Swayam? Because it's a government of India's initiative, a platform which is actually not having any fake thing, because everything is approved by government of India. And before the placement of any of the courses on Swayam, a rigorous process of review is actually conducted. Everything, just a second. Hello? So everything which is placed on Swayam is actually having all the authentication done. All those modules, all those courses are rigorously reviewed by lots and lots of people, and then only the content is placed. So whatever content you are going to get from Swayam, nobody is going to ask you that why you have chosen this, because it's a government of India's institution body. And recently we got to know that there is a possibility in this COVID-19 situation that government of India is going to make a provision where 25% of the education compulsorily have to be done through online courses in future. Maybe once we come out of this situation, this COVID-19 situation, then also this practice is going to stay, because we have learned a lesson through this particular pandemic, that we have to get ready. Every time we have to be ready for any worse situation which we may face. So the point is that in such situations also the learning should go on. So whenever you are getting a course done from Swayam, the certification, all those things which you are getting will be approved by Government of India, and it is going to help you out whenever you are going to produce the certificates, even for credit transfer in your universities. So I suggest you all to encourage your students to go ahead and do the courses from Swayam. You can do courses from anywhere. The teachers, for the sake of learning, they can do the courses from Swayam as well from different institutions, so that they can learn that what are the nitty-gritty which even the foreigners are following, so that we can go ahead and create all those best amalgamation of best practices and create something which is novel in nature and extremely fruitful for our students. But students can be suggested to do courses from Swayam, so that can be used for their future endeavors. Now the next question is, when to do a course from Swayam? Anytime. The answer is anytime. Because if you see, if you go to the Swayam platform, I will show you just now. There are courses which are under the category of XMOOCs, and there are courses which are under the category of CMOOCs. What are these two jargons? Basically, they are the courses which are having some time, like the starting time and the end time. That type of courses are also available on Swayam, and there are courses which are actually not having any time frame. They are available throughout the year. Let's take a course of any aeronautical engineering, a small course on aeronautical engineering, and it is going to it is of 2 months. and you can take the course from today, and once 2 months time is over, you are able to, and you are able to complete all those things which are provided to you during the course. All the evaluations are done. So starting from today's date, uh, and once 2 months are over, you can complete the course. But there will be certain courses which you can see that they are starting from 7th of July and are ending on 7th of October, and that sort of courses. So both of the types of courses are available. So you can select a course and you can decide which course you want to do and when you want to do. There is one more thing, that once it is going to become compulsory for all of us to take few of those papers or part of the papers through the online media, then we teachers can select an appropriate course from the Swayam platform, and we can suggest our students that this is the course which is starting from this date and covering so and so thing. You can go ahead and do the course, and you can get your certification done, and that can be the credits can be transferred uh, in your results or in your credit cards, like this, sorry, the marks, the results. So when to do a course from Swayam, this was my answer. Then the next point is how to do a course from Swayam. This is something which is to be focused in this lecture. So I'm going to answer this, how to do a course from Swayam, through few of the slides. So the first slide uh, is basically the first step towards accessing this Swayam platform. If you want to access the Swayam platform, you can type swayam.gov.in in the browser. First step is typing swayam.gov.in, or what you can do, you can just type Swayam, the word Swayam, on the Google platform. You can see I have typed this word Swayam, only Swayam. Dr. Senthil Kumar, uh,
Ma'am?
I'm moving my cursor. Is it
Yes,
like
ma'am.
it? That is also legible to you all.
Yes, ma'am. It's
I'm moving my
legible.
cursor.
Yes, yes, visible, visible.
It's
Okay,
visible.
okay, fine. Thank you. So I have just typed Swayam. Even I have not used the acronym, this thing, not case sensitive at all. So Swayam you can type in the browser, in the Google browser, and the first search result which you will get will be this, the Swayam Central. Swayam Central will be on your screen. You have to click on this Swayam Central. After you click the Swayam Central, this will be the page which will appear in front of you. You can see that here I have marked one, there is a marking which I have done. And this marking is to show that if you want to access the Swayam platform, there is one point that if you just want to see things which are available over the Swayam platform, then even you don't have this need of making a sign in or registering. But if you want to download, or if you want to actually access a course, do a course or create a course, at this point of time, you need to register or make a sign in. So it's better you make a sign in, then everything will be in front of you, like everything will be open to you. There will be no any restriction which can be abiding. So it's better to make a sign in. For making a sign in, just have to click on this sign in oblique register pointer. So once you click on this type of page will appear. So if you have made a registration earlier, then every time you just have to put in your username and your password. But suppose you are a first time, like you are coming to the Swayam platform for the first time, in that case you have to make a sign up or you have to register. So in that case you have to click on this particular point. You can see my pointer. It's a circle which is made. So sign up now is written. You can just click on the sign up now pointer. I think my pace is fine. Everybody can is able to internalize, or I'm too slow or too fast. Please give me a quick feedback.
We can go as it is, ma'am.
The pace is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So just make a click on this sign up now. Once you will click on this sign up now, this type of form will appear. You have to fill this small form where you have to write your username. You have to create a password, and I will suggest you to create a strong password which has one character in uppercase and few characters in lowercase and a special character, any special character, star, hash, dollar sign or anything, and few numerals. So it should be alphanumeric, should be having one special character and one capital letter. So this new password you can create. It should be your password, unique password, and you should please keep it with you written somewhere. Otherwise, every time you will be in search of, or you have to change the password. So you have to create a password, confirm the password, write your email ID, because they will send you a confirmation email for registration purpose. So write a valid email ID and then click on the send verification code. Once you will click on the send verification code, you will be getting an email on your registered email ID. You have to like copy that verification code, or just that there are few numbers. You have to copy those numbers and you have to fill the number in the space, and then you have to submit. Once you will do that, you will be registered on the Swayam platform. Now you can see on my screen, after making the registration done, you can see that it will be a personalized screen where my email ID is visible. This is the email ID through which I registered on Swayam platform. Because I was already registered, so my screen is now showing you my email ID. So once I'm registered, only for the first time you need to register, and then whenever you are going to visit the Swayam platform, you just have to type, make a login through your email ID, put in your password, and you can go inside the platform. Now I will show you what exactly is available on this particular website. I must tell you, it's a very enriched website, and now Government of India has actually made a kind of mind that they are whatever flagship products they are having, like the Swayam platform, they are placing all those initiatives, all those things which are done for in that particular area, centralized on all those platforms. So if you go and navigate any of the platform, you can get access to all those different products which Government of India is offering. So you can see that the first thing which I have marked is for all courses and the national coordinators. In my slide, I have shown you a list of national coordinators. If you want to get a detailed list, or maybe you want to see that who else is added, because that list is actually having additions. Every single day, institutions are coming ahead and their names are being added in that list. So you can see the details of the national coordinators. All the courses which are available on the Swayam platform can be even seen from here, from clicking on this all courses. Then suppose somebody has suggested you, your teacher or your um, uh, peer group or from your colleague has suggested you one course. So what you can do, that you can type the keyword or that name of the course here in this course catalog, and you can directly go to that course. Typing the course name on this space, the search catalog space, you can directly go to that particular place where this course is placed. Now I will come to the next point, which is this circle is having something which is written as 500 plus courses open for enrollment. Then there is another thing which is Swayam courses in regional languages. I will go one by one. I've got all those explanatory slides for all these things. So, but I'll just go ahead and tell you that what exactly is placed here. So this is the second thing is Swayam courses in regional languages. The third thing is completed courses. It's basically the archives. I will show you why it is also something which is very much important. Then we have got ICT initiatives of MHRD. This is something which you must know. It's a must know for all the teachers. I will show you what exactly they are offering in all those things. So And this one, let COVID-19 not stop. If you click on this, all these things will open in the ICT initiatives, and everything will open in a different like in a different screen. So now come to the first thing. The first thing, which is, you can see here, is the 500 courses open for enrollment. So I have clicked on the 500 plus courses open for enrollment. And what will be the next navigation point? This screen will appear in front of you. And you can see that there is a, a like list of all those courses which are at this moment open for registration. And you can see that there is a course on animation, which is Dr. Abhishek Kumar. He is the course creator or course author, and this course is from Banaras Hindu University. Then you can see there is a course on education. It's learning and teaching, and this is launched by Dr. Gaurav Singh. He is from IGNOU. And then likewise, there are many courses. There are 500 plus courses, as they have mentioned. So all these courses will be the open courses, those courses which now can be taken. Those live courses will be shown to you, and you can just go through, and whatever seems to be interesting to you, you want to take up that course, you have to click on that course. And what will happen, like I have clicked on one of the courses. I don't know why this line is coming. There is something, this particular line. Don't know.
Some
But
participant is using
some participant.
edit.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem, no problem. So what I did, I have clicked on one of the courses, and this course is being offered by NITR Chennai. Yes, NITR Kolkata, sorry. So NITR Kolkata's Dr. Samir Roy, he is actually offering this course of academic and research report writing. So I have clicked on that course, and this particular page will open in front of me, and you can see that I have encircled the button of join. So because now I have made a sign in already, I'm a registered user and I have made a sign in. So what will happen? I will be joining directly. If I click on this join button, I will be given a small form which will be having few of the information which the Swayam platform will be taking from my registration details, and there will be few other informations which you have to fill, like because I told you that there are certain courses which are offered for certification, and there are certain courses which can be taken by anybody. So those are non-certificate courses, only for like only for your knowledge enhancement. Credit transfers are not done in those courses. So on the basis of the nature of the course, they will ask some of the information to be filled in that form. So and in this page of that particular course on which I have clicked, you will get all the information related to the course. There is a small introductory video which we create once we are creating a course. The first thing which they ask us to do is to fill a form and to create a small introductory video and submit it to the national coordinator, so that they can evaluate that small video. And if the course is created, then this introductory video is placed on the course page. If you click on this particular introductory video, the course creator would be presenting all the information which is related to this course. So the small video of 5 minutes or 2-3 minutes is created, and it is placed. So you can access to this particular video, and you can get all the information week wise, module structuring, what they are going to offer in every week. Everything is placed there. The start date, the end date, the exam date, then when the enrollment is going to end, then what is the category of the course. Like this course is under the category of teacher education. Then for what level, like if you are a student of 12th standard, you can't take this course. Maybe because it's an academic research report writing. So in few of the courses, they have made some restrictions that there should be some previous knowledge, some sort of level of knowledge which you have to be, you have to actually have once you are getting the course. Otherwise, what will happen? If there is no any previous understanding of the topics, you will be like not in a position to complete the course. So they actually check that who is actually registering. So they have made some criteria. Every course creator makes the criteria that who can do the course. That particular, if it's a specialized course, then who will be the audience, or what will be the previous knowledge or previous degrees or diplomas or certificates which you must be having, because certain courses are general courses and certain courses are advanced courses. So in case of advanced courses, at times they make the criteria that you have to do the general course. So that type of information also they gather from you. So once you click on this join button, what will happen? This type of form, small form will appear, which is the requirement if you want to join the course. To fill this small form and you have to submit. And once you submit this small form, if the course creator approves you as a student of the course, you will get the link of joining the course and you will be in a position to join the course. Then what will happen? Uh, Once the course will start, you can go ahead and start learning, doing assignments, uh, getting all those formative assessments done. And there is one more thing which is very important. Whatever content is offered on Swayam for studying, even you can download everything which is placed on Swayam. If you are a course learner, even you are a teacher, and in future you require all those content which you have learned, you can make a diary of all those things. You can download every stuff which is available to you over the during the course, and even in future you can use all those things for the sake of teaching. uh, Even there is one license which is called as CC by SA. So Swayam is launching the courses under CC by SA, but I think that the same thing is applied right now also, uh, because on Swayam Prabha now they have changed the license. They have stopped saying that you can even sell the products which are available on Swayam. So but right now on Swayam platform, even if you are taking a content and selling it to somebody, that is also allowed, because they are offering it under CC by SA. But I think that that is not a good practice to do. It's an ill practice. So all the education is, so should avoid all those things. They should use the content which is created by somebody. Whenever they are using or reproducing, they should give the attribution as well. They have to acknowledge the source, and they should not they should avoid all the malpractices. So this form is to be filled, and you can go ahead and learn. Now I will come to the next. You can see that again the home page, the magnified version of the home page is there, and I have made a marking on this Swayam courses in regional languages. The other offering of this particular website, Swayam courses in regional language. This is something uh, which is very new. Swayam has given the responsibility of translations and all to CDAC. So CDAC, and even they were asking, when I was working on those courses, they asked even me, uh, because I was the academic coordinator, so I was told by the authorities to get the things translated. We started the translations, but because the process was very slow, because lots and lots of work was given to us. So the point is that we required a place or a centralized space where the things can be translated in an authentic and proper way. So the thing was transferred to CDAC at that point of time. I don't know who else is involved now, but they are doing the translations and they are trying to offer the courses in regional languages also. So if you click on this Swayam courses in regional languages button, this type of screen will appear. You will find a list of courses and also all those languages in which the courses are available. So you can see that there is a course on programming in C++, and this course is available in Hindi, Tamil and Telugu. You can see the tick marks. And because there is a square mark, so it says that they are in the process of getting translated. So they have got teams who are working on in Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi, Tamil, and Telugu. So in these languages, they will translate the courses and will be offered. So now the point is that basically the courses are developed in English. So English is the base language, and then they are translated into regional languages. So from here, there's a big list you can navigate through and check all those courses. Even you can go ahead and do the courses in your own language of interest. Now, come to the next pointer. Dr. Senthil Kumar,
Yes, ma'am.
it's 4:10.
10, ma'am.
What about the time? Is there any time limit, or like what how much time I'm having right now?
You can take more 10 more minutes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Then I'll go in a speedy manner.
Yes.
So you can click on the completed course. This is a list of archived courses. Why do they have placed all these things? Because there are courses which are which are now like completed their cycles, or they are not running, or maybe they are hold for few of the times because they want to make a kind of change in the content and all. But the content is actually available, and if you click on this completed courses section, you will find, and fortunately the first course which is in the list is created by me. This course I created in year 2015-16 for CIET, and this is the only course in education at I think right now also there may be few courses at this point of time, but this was the first course in education subject for the MEd and MA education students. And this course was Educational Administration, Management and Leadership in School Education. This course is having 36 modules, full-fledged 36 modules with all those text content, video lectures, assessment questions, and references. So if you click, if you want to see the course, if you want to even download the content, what you can do, you just click on the the name of the course, and what you will find, you can see that there will be this drop down menu where all the modules, I said that as I said that there are 36 modules, so all the 36 modules will be in front of you, and you can click on any of the module, and whatever was provided by the course author in terms of the modules, you can get in front of you, and even you can download the content. So this is something which is very much important, and there is a list, I must tell you that there is a list of 133 PG courses and 232 UG courses. So there is no any brevity of content right now. But the only thing is that we are not having awareness that what exactly is available, what exactly is offered. So any of the course in any of the subject, you can search on and click on that particular course page, get the content, you can download the content, and you can share it with your students. So this was something which was related to the completed courses. Because now I have left the institution, CIT, now I am in Jamia Millia. So they are not right now offering the course. Maybe in future it will be offered, because whenever we have to run a second cycle, or that course has run its 3 cycles at my during my tenure. But once I left the institution, so right now they are not running it, because every time the course requires all those additions, and every time you create a course, you need to do lots and lots of efforts to actually place it on the website of Swayam. So maybe they are not in a position to do that right now. In future, maybe they will be doing it. So that course will be open in future, I hope. Then the next thing, which is ICT initiatives of MHRD. If you click on this point, you will be placed on a page where you will get information related to Swayam Prabha. You can see that there is Swayam Prabha. Swayam Prabha is a digital platform of 37. Earlier it was 32, now it is 37, and every day they are increasing the number of channels. Even they have, I have collaborated with IIT Madras, and 2 channels are given to me for courses of B.Ed. Like there are lectures of B.Ed which we are creating and giving to IIT Madras, and they are going to like make the live transmission on the Swayam Prabha, different channels of Swayam Prabha. So Swayam Prabha is also something which you can get from here. You can directly go ahead and see all those lectures. Then there is National Digital Library. You can access the library. This is also something which is good, which is having a lot of information related to education and different subjects. Then the EPG Pathshala, the Shodh Ganga. Shodh Ganga is the consortium of all those theses everybody would be aware of. Then there is E-Shodh Sindhu, which is the compilation, which is the center point for all those e-journals, freely accessible journals. Then there is E-Yantra. E-Yantra is basically for engineering students. They can access E-Yantra and they can actually learn a lot of skill-based learning through this. There is FOSSEE. What is FOSSEE? FOSSEE is actually having all those free and open source learning tools. So they are placed, even you can download those tools from there and you can create things. So FOSSEE is also something which can be can prove to be useful. There is this in the list. The next thing is spoken tutorial, which is having all those live lectures and recorded lectures. So even the specially abled students can go and access the spoken tutorials, and they will be self-sufficiently using all those things by the use of those spoken tutorials. There is virtual labs. These labs will be used. They can be used by teachers for practicals. So, and there are simulations and other activities which are available through this virtual labs. Then there is Samarth. This Samarth is something which is providing training on life skills and other things related to leading a better life or becoming a good citizen. So that is also something which may be useful. Then there is Vidwan. Vidwan is for researchers, those who are pursuing research or they have completed their research and they want to become the part of the research pool or the researching fraternity. They can come and participate in this Vidwan. You can register yourself on Vidwan if you want to, and you can actively participate in different researching activities. The next thing is Shodh Shuddhi. Shodh Shuddhi is basically a plagiarism detection software. If you click on this, you will find that it will be placed, it will be taking you to an Urkund account. So if you are having an institutional access to Urkund, like basically institutions have to make a Urkund account for you. So if you have got an Urkund account which is created by your institution, you can directly go to this Shodh Shuddhi and click on the Urkund account, and you can make your plagiarism check for all those things which you want, for all those research papers and everything. One more thing, on the same place, ICT initiatives page, there is one section, like all those things you can just go through. There is less time now remaining, so I will just go ahead and show you that if you click on this multimedia button, there's a YouTube channel link, which is a YouTube channel of MHRD, and whatever new things are happening in MHRD, all those videos, all those initiatives, everything is placed on this YouTube channel in the form of videos. So you can access to the MHRD's channel, you can even subscribe to, and whenever there will be something new, it will be shown. So this is something which you can explore from the Swayam platform. And there was one thing, I'm going a bit back to the questions. Yeah. So the questions, you can see how to do a course from Swayam is now answered. How to use resources from Swayam, I have answered. I hope that I was in a position to answer this. I have shown you all those places. After making a sign in, you can get access to all those resources. The next question is how to create and conduct courses on Swayam. This was not the question which was supposed to be answered in this particular session, because normally it takes a lot of time and training. So if in future, if there will be an opportunity, I hopefully will be giving this particular answer also to this question, how to create and conduct courses on Swayam. So I hope that now rest of the questions are answered, and now I give the opportunity to everybody. Like it's my request to ask questions. Whosoever is willing to ask a question related to this presentation or related to Swayam or any sort of information which is given today in this session is welcome. So Dr. Senthil Kumar, now it's over to you. It's open for questions.
It's for a feedback session, ma'am.
Yes.
Someone is asking some questions.
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah, please.
Pooja Malhotra has raised her hand.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't able to let me unmute her.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Participants, therefore, if you have any doubts, just hurry here. Pooja Malhotra, ma'am. Dr. Pooja Malhotra. Hello. Dear participants, please.
Ma'am, thank you for the session, ma'am.
எக்ஸாம் முடிகிற வரைக்கும் போகாதுன்னு தானே சொல்றேன். இரு நான் அண்ணன்
Hello. Participants, please be quiet.
இந்த போன் அங்க இருக்கு எடுத்துட்டு வா.
நான் என்ன பண்றது? போன ஒரு நிமிஷத்துல வந்துட்டீங்க.
அந்த ரூம்ல இது இருக்கு.
விஜய் சொல்றா. யாரும் கேட்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க, எல்லாருமே கவனிக்கிறாங்க. அதான் சரி சரி நான் கூப்பிடுறேன். Shubha Haridas. Shubha Haridas, sir, you have raised your hand. Kindly unmute yourself. Jyoti ma'am. Dr. M. Balasubramaniam.
Bro.
Panin sir, just a minute.
Bro, very good evening to all. Bro, nothing. They are unknownly raised with their hands.
Okay, okay. Just a second. Dr. Subramaniam,
Yes.
sir. Dr. Subramaniam. Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Sir, yeah, are you here? I am audible.
Yeah, you are audible. Please.
At the outset, I would like to congratulate the coordinator, Dr. M. Sendilkumaran, and my teacher, Professor Dr. N. Ramakrishnan, for taking strenuous efforts for organizing this webinar, and congratulate both of them, and I congratulate all the team. Ma'am, you have presented yourself in a nice and confident manner. Wonderful session you have given to our university. My question is, ma'am, I am audible?
Aram ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Hello.
Aram Khan ma'am. Yes, muted. I think so.
Hello. Hello. Can I raise my question?
I heard. Yeah, you can ask your question. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, you spoke about RPIT courses in a detailed manner. It was a real wonderful learning experience for us. My question is the RPIT courses organized by SWAYAM equivalent to refresher courses organized by UGC HRDCs?
Okay. Okay, I got the question. Your question is, are these courses equivalent to the all those courses which are done you are going to do in face-to-face manner in different FDPs? I must tell you that the credit transfer thing is there in ARPIT also. They also take the exams and all. And earlier there was a provision of few of the credit transfers in from the ARPIT courses, and few of the credits like a few of the part which you have to do in your like for your professional development through face-to-face manner. So there was a percentage, few of the courses or few of the percentage of your career advancement you have to do through ARPIT, or you can do, or it was up to you that if you are willing to do, you can do through ARPIT or through face-to-face. So this was the earlier thing, but I hope that in future they are going to make it that either you do ARPIT or you do face-to-face, or there will be that this percentage, like 25% of the required thing you have to do through Arpit, and rest of the thing 75% you have to do through the face-to-face mode. Why I'm not giving a definite answer to this, because still it is being discussed. There is a discussion which a kind of office memorandum which we received from MHRD. It was through different sources. Still we have to receive something in a proper order form, where it was written that 25% of the education in future will be given through MOOCs only, compulsorily through MOOCs, and that applies to the faculty development programs and the different refreshers and orientations also. The only thing is that right now these things have not come in an order form. So future is going to be very much likely that we have to do certain FDPs through Arpit in a compulsory manner.
Thank you,
So this
ma'am.
is my answer. Yeah.
Next,
Hello.
Dr. Afrini now.
Hello.
Please
Yes.
post your question, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
It was a very nice lecture, and I think it's very helpful also, because we all are coping with these online modes right now from past 2.5 months. So I find it really helpful for us. My question is, since there are a number of courses, you showed one page on MOOCs UGC, in which UG and PG courses were listed. So right now, since we are using such resources, if I talk about my particular subject, I was we were given a certain list of these resources to be used in our classes, on ongoing classes right now in these 2 months. So there were subjects, there were topics under different categories. Like for me, there was certain topic in my syllabus which came under biochemistry. Some topics came under biophysics. So how can we overcome such kind of?
Okay.
Because of this reason, I cannot ask for a student, "Bhai, you do this particular course." I cannot
Yeah.
ask them because the topics are
Yeah.
under different
not
categories.
not very not all the topics are useful for
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
understood what you are
So how can we
answering.
overcome such problems right now? Because we have not been so well versed with online teaching.
Dr. Afreen. Dr. Afreen is from Jamia only. She is my colleague. Dr. Afreen, I must tell you, this is the problem which right now we are also facing, even in my department, because there is no any specialized course which is going to offer every sort of topic of a particular paper. Like I teach child development and learning, and there is not a single course which is offering all the topics to the students. So I even can't ask my students to take up that course, that particular course, and they can go ahead and pass the exam, and I can get the credits transfer. So what is the solution is right now, you can go ahead and search different courses, and you can download the modules. You can download the modules, and you can actually share with your students as a study material. What you can do, because you also are a practicing teacher, you can create a course. There is also a possibility of restructuring course, taking different lectures which are useful for from a particular course. Let's take 10 of the courses. There is a list of 10 of the courses from where you can take up different lectures. You can create a kind of small course with the use of those lectures. The only thing is, you can take permission. You can ask the author of those courses for the permission. You are going to use, you are going to create the courses with the help of those lectures which their courses are having. You can create a kind of packet, a personalized packet for your students, and you can offer that to your student as a course, because that course you can give Swayam as your like in the name of your course, and you can ask your students to take that course which is created by you. So this can be the solutions, can be the solution. There is more thing which I would like to mention. Like whenever I am going to create a course for Jamia students, I am going to see and refer all those different syllabi and curriculum of different major universities. And suppose there is a paper which is taught in Jamia is having few less topics in Delhi University, few more topics are taught. I can take up those topics and include in my course. And then with the kind of additions, I can offer a course which can be taken by Jamia students and DU students and JNU students and many more universities without any hesitation. So this is something which is my suggestion to you, Dr. Rahul.
Thank you, ma'am, for
Thank you,
your
ma'am.
Hello.
Can I have one more question if you don't mind, sir?
Please,
I
please.
don't have any problem.
Okay. Okay, the question, ma'am, is okay, when I had gone through a number of videos during this lockdown period, so I found certain videos which were not up to the mark. So, what is the criteria to judge when a particular course is uploaded on the website, they
Mhm.
are very good, they are useful to the students, yeah, they have to be some standard should be set up for videos for the teacher, the kind of knowledge he is sharing, he or she is sharing with the students. So how to judge that those group videos? Because some not very a lot number of videos I've gone through, but I found few videos which were not really helpful. But I was looking for a certain topic and I just got those videos and I found them really useless. Ki, bhai, I cannot share them with my students. So how
So
are
that is actually what I tell you. Uh, I told you now that there is a distinction which you have to make. Maybe those videos which you are not finding useful would be useful for others. So that parameter is in your with you. So you have to go through all those and you can see that which must be useful for you. Maybe that video which you don't find useful for your students would be useful for some of the students in Uttar Pradesh or some
you are
others.
taking my question, not in the sense useful means the way that particular person who made that video lacks the quality of the subject. In that
Okay.
matter, I am saying it.
See,
Not
it's a new baby. I
according.
must tell you, it's a newborn baby. The Swayam platform. It's only a 3-4 years old baby. So every single day they are providing new instructions. They are providing improvement guidelines. And when I was in NITR Chennai, they actually told us that not a half an hour video is essential. We can create 10 minutes short videos with the reflection points which will be much more useful for the students. So these type of advancements are happening today, and I hope that in future every video will be of such quality which can be appreciated by everybody.
Thank
This
you,
is
ma'am. Thank you.
Hello.
yeah.
Next, Dr. Balasubramaniam, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Sendil Kumaran, sir.
Thank you.
Actually, I am from Bharatiya University. I would like to ask a question to the resource person, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, actually, in the Swayam portal, there are a number of courses are offering by a number of national coordinators. For example, I'm asking coming July onwards, few courses will be offered by some national coordinators. In that courses, if you see that category level, it's mentioned that some in one course is undergraduate, another one course is postgraduate. That the title itself, we can understand that that is for the UG students or PG students.
Yes.
As a faculty, if I am self-interested, I can join the course. It will be considered for the promotion for the CAS purpose, or else I can do just a course for knowledge purpose.
For knowledge purpose,
because
yes.
RPIT is also there. RPIT is also there. If a course I do under RPIT, that will be only considered for the promotion or what you earlier said, that some proportion of courses we have to do under RPIT, that 70-30 or something else.
25. I'm
okay.
also.
If 3 reference courses, one may be from RPIT and 2 may be from physical presence.
Face-to-face.
I think so. Yes. Now my question is exactly whether I can do some other courses that is relevant to postgraduate students. It will be considered for under RPIT or not?
No. Actually, in the category of ARPIT, there are specialized courses which are actually teaching you how to teach. Like I must tell you, in the course which I have created for Aligarh Muslim University, the course of ICT and the course of environmental education. Both of the courses are actually training you that what exactly is the nitty-gritty of teaching that particular topic or that particular course content. So Arpit courses are specialized courses. And if you go ahead and see any other course which is available under any other category in the subject category, those courses are based on the content of that particular subject. Like there is a course on organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is it's a pure sciences course. If you do that course, it can't be considered under your faculty development program. If you do a course on pedagogy of organic chemistry, which is under the Arpit course, then it will be considered as your faculty development program. So all the Arpit courses are specialized courses. I must tell you, like in case of our courses, the pedagogy of this ICT of education and the environmental education courses of Arpit, these two courses are considered under Arpit and general courses both, because what Swayam authorities actually told us that these particular two courses can be taken by anybody else also, and even for faculty development programs. So there are courses which are considered as general as well as Arpit. But if you want to do the course for faculty development program under like for your promotion purpose, go to the Arpit section and take up the course which is listed there. Then only it will be considered as your faculty development.
Yes, madam. Thank you. And another question related to this, and under RPET, which national coordinator as I can choose as a teacher education faculty?
Okay.
Whether non-technology national coordinator or some technical national coordinators. Because some coordinators mentioned is approved FDP by AICTE. Whether if we are under the UGC, whether it will be accepted or not. If I do the FDP under AICTE.
Okay. See, there are certain courses which are approved by AICTE and certain courses which are approved by any other institution. So the point is that first of all you have to see the suitability, and right now I think there are very few courses which are being offered by UGC, or there are very less, because AICTE was getting the responsibility of working on Arpit courses. So you just have to see that is there any course which is being offered by UGC or not. I don't have any idea that right now UGC is offering any course under Arpit, because everything was being handled by AICTE. Even for our course now, because I was the co-faculty for this AMU course, our coordinator madam, she mentioned that everything is being handled by AICTE. So Government of India has given the handling of authority to AICTE. So it is not like that if you are doing the course which is being managed by AICTE, it will not be useful for you. It will be. It is not a the course should be according to your need. If you are a chemistry faculty, you have to do a course from Arpit which is related to chemistry. It is going to be managed by AICTE, but the course should be belonging to your subject. Then only it will be useful for you. So as per my knowledge, maybe things have improved, like changed right now, but as per my knowledge, all the Arpit courses are right now managed by AICTE only.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, madam. You have pinpointed. I thank you very much for your response, madam.
Next, Dr. Kothari, please post your question. Kothari? Professor Kothari, are you there? Hello, Kothari. Pooja Malhotra, ma'am. Pooja Malhotra, ma'am. Are you there? Okay. Let's conclude our session, ma'am.
Yes.
Now the formal vote of thanks will be delivered, proposed by Dr. U. Pondian, sir, who is Assistant Professor from the Department of Education and Technology and the Deputy Director of IQAC. Dr. Pondian? Dr. Pondian, sir? Dr. Pondian, sir, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please proceed, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
You can, bro.
Bro,
audible.
My voice audible you?
Yeah, it's very much audible.
Okay. Very good evening to not all. I'm very happy because of I am also one of the person in this platform. First of all, I would like to thank our University Honorable Vice Chancellor, the Registrar of the University, Dean of Faculty, Professors, Associate Professors, Assistant Professors of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University for helping to organize the webinar, and they also enthusiastically participating and listening in the webinar. Next, I would like to thank Dr. N. Ramakrishnan, Member Syndicate, Professor and Head, Department of Educational Technology, TNTU, as he has supported to organize this kind of academic activities. So once again, thank to Dr. N. Ramakrishnan, Professor and Head. Then I would like to thank our valuable resource person, Dr. R.M. Khan, Assistant Professor, Department of Teacher Training and Non-Formal Education, IASC, Faculty of Education, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. She has explained the concept very clearly, like a spoon feeding method. Wonderfully explained that, as well as step by step, how can we register the course in SWAYAM portal and how can we do the course in SWAYAM portal. So once again, thank you, ma'am. As well as she has explained and cleared the doubts for the lot of participants. They are asking lot of doubts. Very pleasurably, she has explained. So once again, thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank dear our participants, various college principals, associate professors, assistant professors, and scholars participating the program and gathering more knowledge and information in the webinar. So once again, I thank to all. Now I conclude that. Dr. Sendil Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ma'am, only one.
Thank you, sir.
Only one thing, ma'am. Professor Kothari is raising his hand, ma'am. He is willing to ask you a question, ma'am.
Okay,
hello.
please go ahead.
Kothari, please go ahead.
Hello. First of all, I would like to thank my close friend Senthil Kumaran sir for giving me an opportunity to give some impressions on this occasion. Madam, actually, I impressed by your the way of convincing, the way of teaching. I am eager to do one course in SWAYAM portal. So I am eagerly. I will get suggestion from your side in future.
Yeah, definitely.
On behalf of all our participants, just now my friend Bala Subramaniam sir also asked so many questions regarding SWAYAM. So you have given much more information. Really, it was a very informative session, madam. On behalf of all participants, I would like to thank you, madam. Thank you, Senthil Kumaran sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. It's an honor to me, and I actually feel very happy once I interact with lots and lots of audiences, and we teachers are actually very much hungry to interact. And in this lockdown situation, right, like earlier we were interacting with our students through Google Meet and all, but right now only assessments are going on, so it becomes a kind of great opportunity for all the teachers to interact with such an audience. Thank you so much for organizing this particular program,
Thank you,
Dr.
ma'am.
Senthil Kumar. Dr. Senthil Kumar, there was
Sir.
one query, like there were few people who were asking that whether they will get the certificate for the program. So I said that I told them that you can ask the organizers, but even I wanted to know that even those people who are registered will be getting the certificates. I hope that they will be getting.
Ma'am, one question, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Welcome,
Yes,
sir. Please
yes.
proceed.
First of all, thanks and congratulations, Dr. Senthil Kumar sir.
Thank you.
Ma'am, my question, in a single person, how many courses able to join in one academic year?
Okay. Sir, it's up to your capacity. There is no any limit. At one particular time, you can access, you can be a part of many courses. But the only thing is that if you are doing a course, do it wholeheartedly. And as per my own experience, do a course once at a time. Like do one course at one time. Like once you complete, what you can do a battery of courses. Complete one course, then you can go ahead and do another course. But right, if on a single time you're doing 2-3 courses, your mind will be boggled with all those things because the courses are rigorous. You have to complete all those assignments. You have to do all those formative assessments. So you can do as many courses as you want, but try to make it your life easier and do one course at a time. And do like after one completed one, you can go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful session, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I will send the feedback link to all the participants, ma'am, who have registered for the program. While submitting their form, they will automatically be generated their certificate through the mail. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
I have sent the link to all the participants, ma'am.
This answers their question actually.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. I have posted it in the WhatsApp group itself, ma'am, already.
Okay. Great.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.